two outputs of goods and services, and we illustrate how functional areas within an organization interact to design, make, deliver, and service products or services for customers. So this course this week will be, so week 1 will be online, week 2 will be in class, and I will live stream it over Zoom too. So that's going to be how it works. And then week 3 will be on Zoom. Week 4 will be in class, live streamed over Zoom. So you have, so yeah, everything will be like, it will still be on Zoom, even when we're in class, but you can come to class if you wish. So it's totally up to you. So we're going to do Zoom this week, then in class next week. And even then in class, we'll still have a Zoom if you can't make it. So yeah, so these are the learning expectations. So we're going to go through these 4 for the course here. And yeah, so these are mostly the learning expectations for the course. And yeah, then
Patatas gamay paras ginaling.
Then the assignments will be 40% of the course, midterm will be 30%, and the final will be 30%. So week 1 will be the intro/welcome this week. Then here, assignment 1 will be due week 3. Assignment 2 will be due week 4. Assignment 3 will be due week 6. Then June 29th, that week will be time off. The midterm will be week 9. Week 10 will be assignment 4. Week 11 will be assignment 5. And the final exam will be week 14. So that's the breakdown of what is due. And then the key dates, spring. I'd recommend put this in your calendar. The assignment 1 will be on chapters 1 and 2, due May 28th. Assignment 2 will be on chapter 3, due June 4th. Assignment 3 will be on chapters 4 and 6, due June 18th. Assignment 4, chapters 8 and 9, due July 16th. Then assignment number 5 will be due June 23rd, and that's chapters 11 and 15. Midterm will be due July 9th, and the final exam will be August 13th. So those are the dates for this course this semester. And then the assignments are posted under assignments in Canvas. So here, these are all the graded parts of the course. So assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, assignment 4, assignment 5, and the final exam and midterm. So this is all that's graded for the course. So the assignments will be through McGraw-Hill. So you have to register for McGraw-Hill here. So I'll go through the registration. This is also located, I'll show you where this is located. It's under, so I'm just share my screen here. So if you go to spring 2023 BUSN, you can go through the PowerPoint here. I'll go through it with you on the registration for the online textbook. So let's get started on this here. So to register for this, you can register through the bookstore. All you need is the Connect Online Access, the red version here. So the 93.95 one. you have to purchase that for this course, just do the assignments. So that is what we need for the assignments for the course. And yeah, so you have to just purchase that, and then you'll be able to do the assignments for the course. And then you can join the class through the Canvas here. So you go to courses, to the operations course, and then click McGraw-Hill Connect, and then just begin the registration here. And then put your email in, your student email, and then your password. And then just enter all the information for the new account. And then put in your access code that you bought from the store. So the 20-digit Connect access code. So then there are technical people that provide technical support through McGraw-Hill, and I'll put the phone number in the chat. So 800-331-5094, McGraw-Hill. Yeah. So yeah, go through that PowerPoint when you're registering for McGraw-Hill. But that's the registration for the online textbook to do the assignments. So let's get started on some of the content for today for operations. So what is operations management? So operations management is the management processes that create goods and provide services. So companies use operations management to improve efficiency. So they want to minimize costs as much as possible and minimize time needed to accomplish tasks. So they use operations management to accomplish these things, so they can reduce the time commitment required for this. So that's one of the reasons why they do it, just to minimize costs, and that's a big thing for companies. They want to make it as cheap as possible to get their tasks done. And then also they want to have increased effectiveness. So they want to maximize the quality of the products and services, and make it as fast as possible. So that's why operations management exists, because they can minimize costs, they can minimize time requirements, they can maximize quality and make it as fast as possible. So those are the reasons why operations is a very important part of a company. So why study operations management? A large percentage of a company's expenses occur in the operations management area. So more efficient operations equals more profits. So through more efficient operations, there's lower costs, and lower costs means more profit. So that's very important. Just reducing costs as much as possible, there's more profit for the company. And then also a large number of jobs in the operations management area. So purchasing. So if you're going to be a purchaser, if you're going to do anything related to quality, planning, scheduling, inventory, etc., that's very important in operations. Those are all operations management jobs. So those are all opportunities in the field. And then also finance, human resources, marketing are all related to operations management. And operations innovations lead to marketplace and strategic benefits. So yeah, it's very important for everything. So there's a lot of different certifications you get in operations management to get more jobs. So like Supply Chain Management Association, that's one. Canadian Institute of Traffic and Transportation, Canadian Supply Chain Sector Council, American Production and Inventory Control Society, now known as the Association for Supply Chain Management, American Society for Quality, Project Management Institute. So all of those are important types of certifications you can get for operations management, and types of certifications you can get to improve your resume, and it'll be easier to get a lot of jobs. So the PMI, Project Management Institute, getting anything in there in terms of if you got the PMP, Project Management PMP certification, that's very valuable on your resume because a lot of employers hire people that are PMP certified from the PMI. So anything Project Management Institute related, there's a lot of opportunities with that. So the PMP certification through the PMI, that's very important to employers. So functions within organizations. So each organization has three basic functions. Operations, they create goods and services. Finance, they provide funds and economic analysis of investment proposals. Marketing, assessing customer wants and needs and communicating them to others. So the organization has finance, operations, manufacturing / service, and marketing. So those are, so the marketing creates demand, operations are needed for that, and then the funding needs come from finance. So the functions of each part of the functions of operations, marketing, and finance, they must all interact to meet the goals of the organization. If they're siloed and they don't interact with each other, the organization will not function and not create the best result. So they need to be constantly in communication and also collaborating constantly in order for the organization to function well. So you need all of them communicating. You can't have them siloed. You can't have them just doing their own thing. They need to all be working together in order for the company to function. Because in the situations where they're working all apart, there is a lot of issue with coordination and missing a lot of details in terms of like cost overruns. If things are getting too costly on the operations side, finance might not know about it. There should be constant sharing of information. So there should be constant feedback between each of these operations, marketing, and finance to ensure that the business is running to the best of its ability. So for an airline, this shows, so this is how operations would work for an airline. So operations would have flight operations, ground support, facility maintenance, and catering. So all four of these parts of operations should be constantly communicating with each other, and they shouldn't be just, working on it their own. They should be constantly working together. So inputs such as buildings, labor, machines, materials, customers, information, they're created into outputs, goods / services. So there should be constant feedback across all of these channels in order to ensure that the inputs are created into outputs efficiently and effectively. So there should be constant feedback back and forth in order to do the things right. So yeah, there should be constant communication, constant information transfer, and feedback coming back and forth all the time. And types of operations, goods producing would be farming, mining, construction, manufacturing, power generation. Services, storage / transportation would be warehousing, trucking, mail service, moving taxis, buses, hotels, airlines. Exchange would be retailing, wholesaling, banking, renting, leasing, library loans. Entertainment would be films, radio and television, concerts, recording. Communication would be newspapers, radio and television, newscasts, and telephone satellites. So for a food processor, the inputs could be raw materials, process would be cleaning, the output would be canned vegetables. So let's try, so for metal sheets, what would be the output for, so for metal sheets, what would be an output for metal sheets outside of making cans? So what would be an output of metal sheets? Yeah, house siding would be a good one. Yeah, that would be a good one for metal sheets. It's great. Yeah, so that would be an output. Making cans would be another output. So it could be many different things. And then like sick patients, doctors and nurses would be inputs. The process would be examination. And then healthy patients would be the output. Yeah, car parts would be a good one for metal sheeting. Yeah, car parts would be a good one. Yeah, so that's great. So then the goods service continuum. So automobile assembly, steel making would be goods. Home remodeling, retail sales would be goods. Automobile repair, fast food would be goods / service, because there's a service component of that, because there's like people serving you food and providing service that way also, as well as the fast food being the product. And then computer repair, restaurant meal, that's kind of a good / service, because you're dealing with a computer repair person and you're getting customer service there. Also the waitress or waiter, they are providing you with service in terms of providing you food and, you know, constantly coming back, giving you refills of water, coffee, and checking on you and giving you like more food, etc. Songwriting, software development would be more on the service side, but there is a product if it's like a download of music of a song or download of software, and then there's the service component of software and song and listening to music, and then surgery, teaching would be more under the service. So some of these border on both goods and service, and then some of them are more just service. So there are products that are both a good and / service, and then there are some that are just services, and there's some that are goods. So it's important to have very high quality for if it's both a good / service, you want to have the lowest cost possible with the highest quality and fastest provision. So you want to make sure that it's aligned across, if it's a good / service, aligned like both of them as a good / if it's a good / service, it should be a high quality good, high quality service, fast good, fast service, and low cost good, low cost service. So operations interfaces. So there's a number of supporting functions: logistics, accounting, MIS, purchasing, personnel / human resources, manufacturing, engineering, maintenance, product design, and logistics. So the scope of operations management, designing decisions, take into account capacity, location, and equipment, planning / control decisions, take into account personnel, inventory, scheduling, and quality assurance. So goods / services. So producing a car, the output is tangible. So customer contact is low for goods if it's just a good and there's no service component. Uniformity of input is high. So inputs are pretty much the same. Labor content is low. Uniformity of output is high. So every product is basically the same. Measurement of productivity is easy because a car is a car. You can count each car. So like 10 cars, car is a car. You see the production. If you're producing a lot of cars, it's a lot of cars. There's no debate. If it's 100 cars, it's 100 cars. You can't debate that. Quality assurance is easy if the car runs. If it doesn't have any issues with the engine, etc., it's pretty easy to figure out that's a quality car. But the problem with services, it's very intangible output. It's not like you see a car, it's more of like an experience. Like, have you had a good experience with a waiter? Has the waiter done a good job? It's more how you feel about it. That's really how with services. Customer contact is high, so they're dealing very directly with customers. While the good market, they don't deal with customers really directly. Uniformity of output is low because it's different across each customer experience. So every time they are providing a service to a customer might be a bit different or a lot different, depending on how they're feeling, etc., like how much work they're putting in. Labor of content is high because they're dealing directly with the customer. So they're putting a lot of labor to work with the customer. Uniformity of output is low because every service is going to be of different quality. So there might be sometimes where you're providing a high quality service, sometimes when you're providing a medium quality service, maybe a low quality service sometimes. Measurement of productivity is difficult because intangible. It's very hard to figure out how a person feels about a service. So it's very difficult to measure that. You can measure that through customer surveys, but that's still difficult because it's subjective. It's hard to value how a customer feels about a service. Quality assurance is very difficult because it's debatable how good a service is or how bad a service is very debatable. And it's very hard to measure. So most systems are a blend of good and service. So like we said before, there's a lot of goods that have a service component, like restaurant waitresses and waiters. There's a good service component. They provide you a good, which is food. And they have the service of being a good waiter / waitress. And then service sector accounts for over 79% of jobs in Canada. However, a lot of those service jobs are also product jobs. So if it's like a waiter / waitress, that would be part of it. And so like it could have a product component to it. So in this case, services they've been increasing over time in Canada. So it's likely that each of you will be working in some type of service industry after school. Manufacturing and construction, it's about 20% of the economy in Canada, while service is about 77%. And then agriculture, forestry, fisheries, mining, oil and gas it's under 5%. The thing is, with this, most of the manufacturing has moved offshore, and we outsource our manufacturing to different countries for the most part. That's why our service industry is so so dominant in our economy, because we outsource a lot of our manufacturing. And then, so operations manager must coordinate the use of resources to the management activities of planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. So this there's a lot of different things you got to do. So for capacity, you got to do degree of centralization. Location would depend on departments. Mix of products would require subcontracting, so that's through outsourcing. So you may have to direct it to a different company, where the company will manufacture the products, which is seen a lot in Canada. A lot of subcontracting is happening in Canada because we mostly move our production offshore. So we're subcontracting to other companies in other countries. Production process, we'd have to talk to suppliers about that, because suppliers are offshore for the most part. And then layout, staffing, inventory control, we'd have to do a lot of scheduling for that. Quality control, we'd have to issue a lot of work orders. Production pace, we'd have to do a lot of job assignments. Motivation, we'd have to do purchasing. Cost control, we'd have to do logistics. So there's a high cost of holding inventory. A lot of businesses these days they do a lot of just-in-time inventory, where they don't hold any inventory on site. They just, whenever there's an order, they ship the order directly to the consumer from an offshore supplier. So that's how a lot of the Amazon seller businesses work with drop shipping. They if a customer orders something from their company, they they get it shipped directly from their supplier. And then yeah, they take so they so somebody orders something from the company, and the company directs the supplier to ship the product to the customer. So that's usually how it works with inventory these days, just to reduce costs as much as possible. And because holding inventory is too expensive. Also, you can potentially hold your inventory at Amazon and then just get it shipped right to the consumer when the consumer makes an order. That's something you can do. So people don't want to hold inventory because it's so expensive to store it in a place before just waiting for a customer to order it. So we're going to go through, in this course, we're going to go through a lot of ethical issues in terms of financial statements, worker safety, product safety, quality, environment, community, and hiring/firing workers. So we're going to go through a lot of issues with financial statements in terms of fraud, and a lot of companies that make up numbers on their financial statements, which is illegal, and not like, and how not to do that for a company. Also, we'll go through all these other things here. And then we'll go through trends in business, including the internet and e-commerce, management technology, globalization, management of supply chains, sustainability. So supply chain is a sequence of activities and organizations involved in producing and delivering a good and service. So that's what a supply chain is. And in this case, they grow the wheat. In this case, the wheat is picked and put into the truck. The truck is it goes to the factory to make flour, and the flour is shipped by truck and then shipped to a factory that makes bread. The bread is transported to a store, and the bread is sold at the store. So this is an example of a supply chain, and there's many of them that happen. This is a good example of a supply chain because a lot of supply chains require intermediate goods. The intermediate good in this case is wheat/flour, and the final good is bread. So a lot of supply chains, they go from, let's say, wheat to flour to bread. So there's a lot of different stages of it, because it has to start as something, let's say wheat in this case, becomes flour and then becomes bread. Can't just start it as bread. So there's a lot of stages to that. And there's supply chains for many different types of goods that are shipped across our country and others. And there's a lot of career opportunities in the supply chain as well. So we got through that. So I'm gonna just go through Indeed here. So just to do an overview of Indeed, if you go to Indeed, Indeed is a great area for jobs, and there's a lot of operations jobs in Indeed. Indeed is a great spot for finding jobs. So there's a lot of operations jobs. So you could look up operations Hamilton, Ontario. And there's a lot of jobs for operations, director operations, Outridge Transportation Limited, many different jobs you can apply for with the skills you learn from this course. And then you can also, I'm just going to delete this here. There's a lot of remote opportunities for operations here. Go to remote, a lot of remote operations opportunities, and you can apply for these too. Indeed is a great place for finding opportunities if it's remote or in person. So let's try this again, remote. So if you take out Hamilton from here, you can put remote again here, and there's a lot more opportunities here. So with your operations knowledge, you have a lot of opportunities here. And then also you can look at supply chain, because we'll learn this in the course too. So supply chain, remote, a lot of remote opportunities for supply chain right here. So Indeed is a great place for jobs. And let's look up Hamilton supply chain. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here. And then yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities here on Indeed for a lot of roles and operations, supply chain, etc. So let's get to our next activity here. So let's get here. So join, click on this link. And so you can still join even when it's started. So disadvantage of forecasting is what? Making use of historical data does not necessarily guarantee that past events will continue in the future. Great job. Assembly, welding, quality checks, and painting are all examples of design. Good processes, good job. The elements of the operation system include what? Good job, inputs, processes, and outputs. Materials and resources used to create a good or service or what? Inputs, great. The activities used to transform inputs to final output. What's that called? And operations management is what? Function of business that produces goods and services. Good job. Final product produced by the business. What function? Output. Inputs are what? Materials and resources used to create a good or service. And then a materials planning tool that relies on data from the past for that an analysis of trends to determine future methods. And what are intangible outputs? Cannot be stored. Great job. Excellent game, everyone. That was great. So the next thing we will do is we're gonna watch a. Okay, so put this in the chat here. So click on it when you're ready. The ratio of outputs to inputs during production. Production, level production, productivity. So productivity. And then ways to increase productivity: motivate the workers, hire a manager, use more advanced technology, or train workers. So yeah, you can motivate the workers, use more advanced technology, and train the workers. All those work. Then producing output at the highest ratio of output to input. Would that be effectiveness, efficiency, or labor intensive, or capital intensive? So be efficiency. Involving a high quantity of capital equipment compared with about input. So that would be effectiveness, efficiency, or labor intensive or capital intensive. Capital intensive. And operations planning decisions are influenced by technology, market demand, skills of the labor, or availability of resources. Technology, market demand, and availability of resources. The use of computer programs to control machine tools and related machinery in the manufacturing products. What's that called? CAD, CAM, advanced technology, or automation. So be a CAM, using CAM. Producing a one-off item specifically designed for the customer. So would that be mass customization, flow production, batch production, or job production? So it'd be job production. And the use of flexible computer-aided production systems to produce items to meet individual customers' requirements at mass production cost levels. Mass customization, flow production, batch production, or job production. So it'd be mass customization. And an advantage of batch production. What's an advantage of batch production? Higher level of worker motivation, some flexibility to design a product in each batch, low unit cost to constant working machine, and high level of productivity or ability to undertake specialist projects or jobs. So be some flexibility in design of product in each batch. And the disadvantage of flow production, would that be high unit production costs, high levels of stocks at each production stage, expensive to set up flow line machinery, or a wide range of tools needed? So that'd be expensive to set up flow line machinery. And then quantitative factors of deciding location. Would that be labor costs, government grants, room for expansion, or environmental concerns? So the labor costs and government grants. Then qualitative factors in deciding location of business, break-even analysis, whole of the market, safety, and transportation costs. So it'd be the pull of market and safety. And the reductions in a firm's unit cost of production that result from an increase in scale of operation. Would that be communication economies, technical economies, coordination economies, or marketing economies? So technical economies and marketing economies, good job. Then factors that cause average cost of production to rise when the scale of operations increase. Purchasing problems and alienation of the workforce, coordination problems, or financial. The alienation of the workforce and coordination problems. And then type of inventory. That'd be finished products, work in progress, raw material, or stock. So great work, everyone. Finished products, work in progress, and raw material. Great work.